Hello everyone. Welcome to the solution of LeetCode problem 456 named 132 pattern. In this problem, we are given an array of n integers. Here, a 132 pattern is a subsequence of 3 integers such that a of I, a of j, and a of k, where I is less than j and j is less than k, and number of k in between a of I and a of j. So here, if our given integer sequence has this specific pattern, we have to return true, otherwise we have to return false. Now, suppose let's consider this example 2. Here, we have 3, 1, 4, and 2 as the array element. Now here we can see that this subsequence 1, 4, 2 holds the 1, 3, 2 pattern because 4 is greater than 1 and 4 is greater than 2 as well. So it is the 1, 3, 2 pattern. Here 1, 3, 2 means second element is greater than the first one and the next one. And the third element is greater than the first element. So here we can see that the middle element 4, it is greater than 1 and 2. And the last element 2 is greater than the first element 1. So here we can see that this is a 1, 3, 2 pattern. So we have to return true. Now the array length can be in between 1 to 2 into 10 to the power 5. And each of the array element can be in between minus 10 to the power 9 to positive 10 to the power 9. I hope you understood the problem statement. Now let's move on to the algorithm. So this is the problem. From a given set of numbers, we have to take 3 integers such that the middle integer k is greater than the first one and is less than the third one. Or we can say that the pattern will look something like this. Here, the middle integer j, which will be greater than the first one and the last one. And the last integer k is in between in the range of first integer I and second integer j, because this k is greater than the a of I, which is greater than and less than the a of j. Now the problem is, how can we solve this problem? We can simply solve this problem by using a stacked data structure. So let's see, how can we solve this problem by using a stacked data structure? Now, suppose let's take an example, which is the second example, which is 3, 1, 4, and 2. And take one variable, which is check. Initially, it contains the minimum value of the integer range. And we have to iterate from left to right. Now, at first we are at this element 2. Now here we have to check whether this element 2 is greater than check or not, as check is the int minimum value. So we can say that 2 is greater than int minimum. In those kind of cases, we have to add 2 into the stack. Now, for this element 4, we have to check whether this 4 is greater than check or not. Yes, this 4 is greater than check because 4 is greater than the value integer minimum. Now, we have to repetitively check whether the top element of the stack is less than 4 or not. Here, the top element of the stack is 2 and our current element is 4. So we can say that the top element of the stack is less than current element. Now, what does it means? It means that we have found the value j and k. Why? Because suppose for this subsequence 4 and 2, if in any of the previous position, if we found any of the value which is less than 2, suppose is 1, then we will tell that we can find 1 through pattern. So here, when our current element is greater than our stack top element, we have found the value j and k. Now, as our current element is greater than stack top element, so we have to remove the stack top element and add the current element into the stack and upgrade the corresponding check. Now, our corresponding check will become 2, which is the stack top element previously. Now, for this element 1, we have to check whether this element 1 is less than check or not. Yes, 1 is less than 2. So, we can say that we can easily place here 1. Now, what does it means? Before, when we found our current element is greater than top element of the stack, we found this pattern, or we have found j and k. Now, again, when we found our current element is less than check, here the check is 2, that means we have found another I. So here we can say that we have found 1, 3, 2 patterns. Now, as our current element is 1 and it is definitely less than 2, that means for these 2, it is greater than 1, and for this middle value 4, it is greater than both of the 1 and both of the 2. And hence, we have found the 1, 3 pattern. So here, in this kind of cases, we have to simply return true. Otherwise, if we completed the iteration and did not find any of the pattern, in those kind of cases, we have to simply return false. So the overall time complexity of this problem is also big O of n, and the space complexity is also big O of n. I hope you understood the algorithm. Now let's move on to the code. In this problem, the code is pretty simple. At first, we are given a function which has a parameter as a vector. Now here, we are taking two variables. So one is check, another is the stack of integers. Now we have to iterate each of the element from right to left or from last to the first position. And we have to check whether our current element is greater than check or not. If it is, we have to repetitively check whether the top element is less than our current element or not of the stack. If it is, we have to upgrade the check and remove the top element from the stack. And finally, we have to insert the current element into the stack. And otherwise, if our current element is less than check, that means we have found 1, 3, 2 patterns. In those kind of cases, we have to return true. Otherwise, after completing the iterations, we did not return any true. We have to simply return false. I hope you understood the code. Thank you everyone for watching this video. We will get back soon with another LeetCode solution.